Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Sid, and this is the Meninverse. We are back. We are finally back. We lost our voices in the final race, and now we are back. We are completely fine. Although I'm still kind of recovering, but yes, we are finally back. So yeah, apologies for the delay in this video. I understand it has been more than 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, that the race has finished. But nevertheless, we are passionate and we love this game. We love this sport. So we welcome back Ronak Dutt. Hi Ronnie, how are you?
Oh, I said I'm good. Like my throat is still aching from the race. Like, come on, guys. Like it has recovered already, and we are very much excited about making this podcast. And yeah, what a race that was! Amazing, and we were looking for this race throughout the season. And what a conclusion to this season, 2021
My
Formula One.
goodness. I mean, I'm. It has been almost 2 weeks now, but I'm still recovering. What happened? What the hell happened, man? I mean, you remember there was a point in the race when around lap 48, 49, when you literally packed up your bags and you were like, "Okay, guys, I'm going back." And I'm like, I just turned around and I'm like, dude, where? Leave last few laps. Let's just watch it. No, it's okay. If what has has to happen. And then suddenly Latifi crashes. And then you're like, okay, I think I should stay back for a bit longer. There is a safety car now. Anything can happen. And everything happened.
Yeah. So actually, the story here was that we both are like Max fan, and we were rooting for Max, and we really desperately wanted him to win this Grand Prix and this World Championship. So when the gap was too high for Max to recover, like I was a bit disappointed, and I decided to like just leave and have some time of my own and and just think about what could have changed like for Max to win. But then all of a sudden Latifi crashed, and that was like, oh, now I cannot leave because it is going to turn on a lot of things. And yeah, man, it did it in a style. Like, it took it to the last lap.
Yeah, and as the commentators said, and as probably lot of reviewers and lot of YouTubers also said the same thing, that you cannot just write this stuff. I mean, we never expected that Formula One World Championship would end in this such a manner. And oh my God, I mean, there are obviously two different groups have been created now. There are those who are actually absolutely elated, who are absolutely loving the fact that Max has won, and there are those who now have developed this toxic nature, toxic environment, toxic attitude towards the FIA and Max for some reason. I mean, Max did not do anything; he was just racing. What if you have to direct your anger? You direct it towards the FIA. FIA mucked it all up. But yeah, I understand that many people are saying that Lewis was robbed of that, and the FIA did it on purpose because they didn't want Lewis to win the eighth, and they wanted a new champion. Whatever it is, I mean, these are all conspiracy theories, and these don't hold any ground. And I mean, well, it's a sport. Come on, man,
Yeah, well,
guys,
definitely.
just enjoy it.
Even I believe that we need to address a very important issue about this toxicity in the game and the behavior of certain fans. I know it's a race. Everybody knows it's a race, and
People take it personally. People take it to
there will
heart.
be one winner only. Everybody
Yeah.
knows this thing. And
Yeah, but we will discuss about that later on.
Definitely, we will discuss about this.
So let's begin this conversation, this podcast. So, Ronnie, what were your thoughts going into the race? So, we knew Saudi Arabia both were on equal points, and most of us wanted that to happen. Like in Bahrain, they were on 0 points, and the winner got the lead of the championship. Similarly, Bahrain was the first race, and similarly, the last race, Abu Dhabi, both were on equal points, 369.5 points. and it was winner takes all. Whoever finishes ahead of the other one takes it away. So, what were your
Well,
feelings?
yeah, after Saudi Arabian GP, I was very tensed and very nervous,
I remember.
anxious, and yeah, my anxiousness level was on like a different
I
tangent
remember.
altogether. And
I remember that you were telling me that every time during race week you are pretty excited, pretty pumped up for the next race. But this time you were like, dude, I can't even. I'm not watching quali. I'm not watching anything. I'm nervous to watch the race because I don't know what will happen.
actually, I was very nervous, like after Saudi Arabian GP, but to my respite and all the good feelings, all the good things in the world, we get to witness such an amazing conclusion to an epic season where we have a new world champion.
Would you agree with the fact that this was one of, if not the most exciting Formula One season which we have witnessed? I mean, we have watched all the races. We have watched almost all the races together,
Yes.
but barring a few when I was traveling. And but I mean, this was an epic season. We could not have asked for a better Formula One season. I mean, everyone was saying that the turbo hybrid era is the most boring era. Only one team is dominating, Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. And we just got one small glimmer of hope in 2016 when Nico won the championship. But that again was a Mercedes.
Yes.
So, for the first time, we got a new champion, a new team who won the championship, not the constructors, the drivers' championship. So, this is exciting. I mean, this was one of the most exciting seasons for me. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. It was, I guess, a very exciting season for a lot of people because a lot of people want to change. Uh, I believe that what I have seen on internet and F1 community, everybody like was. I guess a lot of people were rooting for Max this time, and
A lot of the F1 drivers also on the grid.
yes, I'm not sure like if this is right or wrong, maybe, but it's fine.
Alonso was rooting for Max, obviously.
Yeah, people need change, and they got uh, this from the season.
Yeah, so that was this. This is one season which definitely will be written in the history books. One of the fiercest rivalries between the two, and now it is all done and dusted. All the drivers, all the teams are back at home, relaxing, enjoying the holidays, and we get back to action in 90 days, almost 90 days time.
Yeah, 90 days is too much like to wait. I believe because it like there are barely any weeks that we are not talking about F1 or like planning our weekends to watch F1 together. But now we'll have to wait for 90 days, and
Yeah.
it seemed like a long time for me.
Yeah, but the good thing is that we have F1 social media. Instagram is there, Twitter is there, YouTube is there, and we keep getting updates from the teams, from the drivers, from each and every person. But more on that later on. Let's talk about this season. Finally, let's please just talk about
this season
Abu
of this
Dhabi.
race, yeah,
Yes,
this Abu Dhabi GP was an epic one.
yes,
What do you think about
absolutely
it?
epic. I have a few highlights about this race.
Yeah.
First would be obviously the title championship, the title rivalry which was going on between Max and Lewis. And the next best thing to happen, I mean, there wasn't much action on the track, let's be honest. But there were a few things which were bound to happen in this race, like it was Kimi's last race
Yeah.
in Formula One. Magnificent career of Kimi Raikkonen has finally come to an end. And apart from that, we also had Antonio's last race in Formula One for now, as he also says. We had Russell's final race in Williams. He's going to Mercedes next year. We had Valtteri's last race in a Mercedes. He is now going to Alfa Romeo. And yeah, that is about it. We also got the only retirement this year. I mean, the only time this year when 19 cars were on the grid on the during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, because Nikita Mazepin got COVID at the very last moment, so they could not get in a reserve driver for him. So yeah, it was pretty epic. But sadly, the last race for all these drivers, Kimi, Antonio, George, and even Bottas, all of them, either with the exception of Bottas, all of them retired.
Yeah, we saw a lot of retirement in this race.
Yeah, and through no fault of their own. So that's just sad. But Kimi was voted driver of the day. So I think the F1 community came together and like at night, we want to listen to Kimi, but
Well, this
sadly,
was, I believe, inevitable that
yeah,
it was very much expected that everybody is going to vote Kimi as a driver of the day because, uh, like, the world knows how deeply Kimi is loved by the community.
yeah. But just one. I mean, I absolutely love Kimi, and please do watch the Kimi Raikkonen tribute video, which is there. I'll link the description up above. But I believe Sergio Perez, the Minister of Defense for Mexico,
Chief
should
of-
have got the driver. I mean that defense, man. He was on I don't know how old tires, soft compound tires, against Lewis, and he just gave everything.
Yeah, well, that defense itself make Perez eligible to be the driver of the season. Like, I guess the defense on this lap 20, sorry, it was just epic. And
My goodness, what
we were
a
all
race.
on our toes, and it was very epic to watch that battle. And the gap was brought down from 10 second to 1.24 second.
Yeah,
And that is amazing, in fact. Like,
he's a bloody
as
legend.
Max said, like, Checo is a legend, and indeed he is a legend.
Absolute animal, as Christian also said, I think.
And he's an absolute team player, and I personally very, very deeply respect Checo, and I really want him to be in Formula One for quite some time.
This guy was out of a drive last year when we were
Yes.
at Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
This guy,
Yes.
he won his first Grand Prix last year in Sakir, and he did not have a drive for 2021.
Yes,
And he got that Red Bull drive, and what a miracle it has been.
And yeah, I mean, kudos to Red Bull for like identifying this talent in Checo and giving him a chance, and it definitely paid off, man.
Yeah, man.
It
yeah.
was worth every single penny. Like, Red Bull is like, I don't know what analytics they do and what criteria they take players, but they just made a like deal of maybe decade.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That was a deal for the decade, I believe. And Lewis on the other hand was like, this is some serious dangerous driving.
I mean, and Michael Massey just said it's a motor race.
It's a motor.
It's
race.
a motor race, Toto.
If we don't see such serious and intense racing, and I don't know, like I will not enjoy racing if these kind of things aren't there. But
Yeah.
should definitely doesn't harm a driver.
Yeah. So as far as the drivers are fine, the drivers are safe. We are happy.
We definitely need
Whatever the type of racing.
some
it is.
more of these things
Yeah.
to
We
happen.
need more action,
Yes.
but keeping in mind the safety of the drivers, of course.
Yes.
So Saturday, when Max qualified P1 and Lewis qualified P2, I mean that was kind of a given. We all knew that they will be P1, P2. The order might switch, but Lando Norris,
P3.
he was P3, and he himself was surprised with that result. He did not expect a P3, especially because the McLaren wasn't doing pretty well during the second half of the season. But what do you want to talk about Lando? What are your feelings about Lando? I mean, he was, I think, a bit unlucky during this race.
To start with, like, as I have also previously mentioned in our previous podcast, that Lando is one of my most favorite drivers
Yeah.
on the grid, and I was very excited to see Lando P3, and man, I was happy.
We actually predicted, we wanted that Lando at least ends up on the podium so that we can see his signature bottle popping and see him smile one last time during the season.
Well, yes, like, definitely. If it was supposed to happen that Lando finish on the grid, then yeah, why not? It would have been celebrated even more by us.
Yeah.
By me, at least. Like, I love Lando. And
Yeah. We all love Lando. Everyone loves
Yeah,
Lando.
talking about P3, nobody talks about P3 this race. I don't know why people do not talk about P3. Carlos,
Yeah. Science, man. Come on.
he did. It was a tremendous season for Sainz.
He just. I mean, he went under the radar.
He was lost in the dust, man. Like,
He was absolutely. I mean, everyone was so focused on Lewis and Max that they completely forgot about the rest of the field. Carlos was P3, Sonoda was P4, Gasly was P5. The best result for AlphaTauri this entire season.
for Honda.
For Honda.
I mean, like
what the
minus
heck?
Checo
Yeah,
retired.
minus Checo's retirement. But yeah. So, yeah, you brought up a very good topic about Carlos. I believe he has been one of those drivers who have switched teams and done a tremendous job, especially when going against a driver like Charles Leclerc, and who is already well placed into the team. He has been with the team since 2019. He is the star kid for Ferrari. I mean, he has the longest contract with Ferrari. He has a contract till 2024. Not even Michael had a 5-year deal with Ferrari. So that speaks a lot. And he came into the team. It took some time for him to settle in, but he settled in pretty quick. And he beat his teammate in the first time of asking. He ended up P5 in the championship, if I'm not wrong, and Charles was P7. So tremendous job by Sainz. I mean, and there are a few rumors going around that Carlos is already in talks with Ferrari for a contract extension. So if that happens, and if Ferrari has a really really good car for 2022, which Ferrari are quite confident about, that they will be having a very strong car for 22, you never know. Maybe Carlos might just walk away with the championship, and Charles will be just sitting wondering what the hell happened here, man. Because Carlos, yes, he is not as young, or what do you say, as a star kid for Ferrari, but Carlos has a bit of experience, more experience than Charles, and he quickly adapts to the cars because he has changed teams quite frequently, and he's pretty adaptable. So it will be a very tough fight for Charlie next year, because Carlos is not going to be the number two driver at Ferrari. Nope.
Yeah, he has already proven that he's not a number two driver. Like, and what a drive this season he made. I mean, it is worth my respect and everybody's respect, I believe. And he beat his teammate, and that was a challenge he had to face, and he delivered quite nicely on that.
I'm happy about one fact, that Carlos, when he signed the contract with Ferrari, that time he mentioned that I am not coming in as a number two driver. I'm not. There are no number one, number two drivers at Ferrari. At least that has not been told to me. So, well, he proved his point. He did not do what a number two driver does. I mean, imagine if Bottas was sweeping the floor with Lewis. I mean, Bottas is winning all the races and with Lewis. So, Mercedes will object. That's a good thing that Ferrari did not have that number one, number two driver concept. That's a very good thing. But that's a tremendous job by Carlos. I mean,
Yes, I believe that such kind of setups in a team delivers some negativity and controversy off track and in the community as well.
Correct.
So, and we don't want to see that. We don't want to see our favorite drivers placing number two and giving position to their number one drivers. I mean, it's okay. Like Valtteri must be having a lot of fans out there, and they, in some way, might feel disappointed.
yeah, I was disappointed because I really like Valtteri.
I like Valtteri.
And I was very disappointed when he is not able to do the job well. And when he is doing the job well, suddenly a radio call comes and they just ask that let Lewis by. I mean, that does not make sense. As a fan, I feel that is wrong. As a driver, I can't even begin to imagine what he must be feeling.
Yeah, and talking about number two drivers, we want to dwell upon Sergio Perez.
Yes.
So, Sergio Perez technically wasn't a number two driver, or was he?
I think for this season, he was clearly the number two driver. He was given the role that, look, you are here to help out Max win the title. You are here to help us out to win the constructors. Sadly, they could not win the constructors, but that's completely fine because that Red Bull seat has been tricky. I mean, after Ricardo left, Gasly struggled with it, Albon struggled with it, and Checo also initially did struggle with it. But he himself said that give me 3 to 4 races, I'll be fine.
He was fine.
And after that amount of time, he won. He won at Baku. No matter what the reason, no matter how it played out. Yes, Lewis did hit the magic button and he went off into the runoff area. But Checo did win that race. He was under immense pressure from Seb, and Checo delivered. Did the job that he was asked to do. Now I think he can get comfortable with the car in 22, although the regulations are changing. But I think now Checo will be a much more significant part of the team. Not that he wasn't, but he's going to play that team role, and I just hope that Red Bull get the constructors next year.
Yeah, I will pray for the best. And yes, I just want to talk about this thing. Checo never received any radio calls. I mean, minus the last race because that was Lewis and Max's race. So any driver would have let them take the battle on with each other. But throughout the season, I never got to hear something.
Let Max by.
Yeah, let Max buy some sort of these kind of radio messages which we get from Mercedes.
I think the only time he got one was probably in France when he was told that we are not going to hold up Max. I mean, it can partly be because of the reason that Checo was not in most of the occasions was not ahead of Max. Max was always leading. He was always leading the race or ahead of Checo. But yeah, even if Checo would have been ahead, unless it was a do or die situation, probably he would not have got that call.
Yeah.
So yeah, if Red Bull were comfortable, they wouldn't have got that call because that speaks a lot about team dynamics, how things happen in a team.
Yeah. So what the conclusion we get from driver number two driver letting number one driver pass is that we do not like this concept in Formula One. We do not want to see more of these kind of radio messages.
Yeah, it just means that the races are scripted and you can decide the outcome of a race. I mean, okay, fine, you want one of your driver to win the championship. That makes sense. Okay, fine. It makes sense if it is towards the end of the
race.
Yeah. But if it is in the beginning or the mid of the season, come on, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You should let the drivers race.
Yeah, you should. They are here to race. They are here to win. They have put in a lot of hard work, a lot of efforts.
Yeah, let the initial few races decide like who is a better contender for the season. And
like the best example I can see is McLaren at Monza. I mean, clearly Lando was doing way better than Ricardo. We all thought it would have been the opposite way, but Lando was doing way better than Ricardo. And when in the Italian Grand Prix, Ricardo was leading, and there was a time when Lando did come on the radio and he said that ask him to drive a bit faster, or shall I pass him? So that time Lando was stopped by the team. No, don't pass him. Don't maintain position, because the team knew how important it was for Ricardo in that race, because it was important for his morale. He was having a dismal season all year round, and suddenly, and I told you that Ricardo would win a race this year. The only time Ricardo will come back would be with a win, and that happened. That absolutely, I think I told this in Monaco or someplace, and that did happen, and I was like, yes, and I was so happy when Ricardo got his win, and it was a McLaren 1-2, the only 1-2 for
yes, the fun fact here is
the
McLaren were the only 1-2,
not Mercedes, not Red Bull. It was a McLaren 1-2.
Yeah.
So yeah, this season has been epic, man.
This was a good roller coaster ride for us.
Yes, completely agreed. But okay, let's get back to the race because we are deviating a lot.
There's too much to talk about in
Yeah, there's too much to talk about this season and this race. We'll have a separate podcast on the season. Okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
So let's get back to Abu Dhabi and let's talk about Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton because well, Lewis drove his heart out. He absolutely was deserving of the race win. He was absolutely deserving of his eighth world title. Not to say that Max was not. Both the drivers were equally deserving. But yeah, Lewis did dominate the entire race.
This was Lewis's.
This was Lewis's race to win.
Yes.
This was completely his eighth world title in his hand, and Max just stole it right under his nose.
Snatched it like a
Snatched it.
honey badger.
So yeah, so let's talk about Lewis. So lap one, Max was on pole, but he had a very bad start, and Lewis grabbed first position, and he was leading the race, and well, he stayed in the lead for most of the race, and there is this one incident which happened on lap one
Yes.
when Max dove into Lewis to take the position, but Lewis had to take the escape route,
Yes.
and uh, as a result, we all thought that he would have to give the position back to Max, but that did not happen, and Lewis just continued on, and they later on said that the advantage was given back. I don't think that advantage was ever given back, but well, it started with a controversy, ended with a controversy, so which we are all still talking about. So what are your thoughts on that first lap incident between Lewis and Max?
Well, that first lap incident, I was definitely expecting Lewis to give back the position to Max.
We all were.
Yes, and I don't know, like if regulation allows such kind of incident that driver may retain their position and retain the lead, the amount of gap they have like gained. It's fine. I mean, who are we to discuss? But still, it doesn't feel fair if
Yeah.
if you are in place of Max, that Max did a serious dive on that lap, that turn, and it was like Max was clearly out within the track limits, like beyond both the white lines, and he was on the track like very precisely, neatly. He was on the track, and Lewis got pushed off. If it did he got pushed off? I am not sure. Like. What I feel that Lewis wasn't pushed off of the track by Max, but
Yeah, maybe if there was a gravel
FIA
trap
will
there,
disagree with.
if there was a gravel trap there, he would not. He would have just backed off and he would have let Max go
If
ahead.
there was a gravel trap,
If there
then
was.
Lewis would have lost a lot of positions.
Yeah.
Lot of positions there.
Yeah. So anyway, so that all happened.
That was a really
But let's not disregard the fact that Lewis did drive an epic champions drive on Sunday. If it had not been for Latifi's crash, if there was not a safety car, I'm pretty sure right now we would have been discussing the record breaking 8th world title for Lewis Hamilton. So things can happen, and that's what they all say. It's racing, it's Formula One, anything can happen.
well. If you allow me to go brutal on this thing,
Hmm.
I would like to target Mercedes.
Okay.
There was one virtual safety car, one safety car.
Hmm.
Lewis could have easily pitted in those two.
He would have
Safety
had to
cars.
fight. He would have had to fight because there was actually the reason why Mercedes did not pit him was, and Lewis also came on the radio that should we pit? Why aren't we pitting, guys? But what Mercedes relayed to Lewis was that they had a risk of losing track position to Red Bull,
Well,
to Max.
Yes, definitely. If the second, the safety car, if Lewis would have pitted there, then
He would
Lewis
have been in
have,
P2.
yeah, lost the championship then and there only.
Yeah.
But the first virtual safety car, Lewis had a very good opportunity.
No, but
pit.
there was still this problem that if Mercedes would have pitted, then Red Bull would have stayed out. Because Red Bull would have wanted track
But
position.
what if you see why Red Bull kept on pitting Max? He pitted 3 times this race
Yeah.
just to maintain his tires, like the condition of
I
his
mean,
tires.
the
and
the
it paid off.
Mercedes was clearly the faster car, no doubt. I mean,
They
even
were.
even Lewis on those absolutely shredded old hard tires, he was able to keep up with Max. He was fighting with Max
Yes.
in the last lap, but yet, of course, Red Bull had the advantage of the soft compound tires, which are faster and stickier. So yes, he did cruise and went ahead to win the championship and the race. So yeah, but yeah, I think it was very tricky for Mercedes. I agree that they. I mean, normally their strategies work like anything. They are the best when it comes to strategies, but I don't know. This entire season they were slightly off.
Mercedes went too greedy in this season, in this GP. I mean, they were so fond of holding this P1 throughout the race that they forgot. I don't know if they forgot or they did it on purpose, or maybe whatever the reason was. They must have pitted Lewis at least in the first virtual safety car. Like,
They should have, yeah.
yeah, because Lewis.
He
hands
could have
down,
lost track position, but
was
he
in-
had the faster car.
Yeah, he was in form and he had the best car. Like, and if Lewis would have pitted, then maybe scenario would have been different at the end of the race.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yes. So before moving to our next topic, I would like very happily and very joyfully want to discuss the last lap of the this GP and what were your emotions flowing when Max gained that P1 position. What were your reaction like? I mean, Christian Horner was going nuts, and every single team member, Red Bull team member, were mad. Like, they were so happy, and they literally jumped on the pit wall, I believe, and it, emotions were like overflowing. I mean, it was surreal, and I mean, nothing like it. I mean, this is what we live for, and we get to witness this thing.
I was screaming. I was shouting. I was
We all were
hooting.
screaming.
We all were. And as a result, I lost my voice, which was gone for quite some time now. So, which is why this podcast has been delayed. But yeah, I was before that. Look, before that, we all had lost hope. I was on my iPad and I was just looking at the timings, but the gap between Lewis and Max. So sometimes it was decreasing, sometimes it was increasing, but it was still pretty constant. And I was like, yeah, at this pace, Max is not going to win. Max is going to lose. And Max, I'm pretty sure he was trying everything he could, but there wasn't enough pace in that Red Bull that on Sunday. But when that decision came that lapped cars are allowed to pass and the safety car was ending, I was like, holy crap, this is going to be different. This is going to be absolutely electric. I can't even begin to imagine what the fans at the stadium, at the track would have been going through. But I was screaming, I was shouting. We were supposed to record that day, but we couldn't because our voices were gone. And we were so emotional. We were just short of tearing up and crying. I mean, my eyes were moist, but I was just so elated, so happy, so excited that what a turnout, what a season it has been, and we finally have Max as the champion. Whatever happened, I mean, the safety car debacle, FIA nonsense, Michael Massey, the team radios, blah blah. Blah. I'm not paying two heeds to that, but it was just so much exciting, so much excitement was there, and it was a season which we all deserved for sure.
Yes. I tore my jacket off.
Yeah, you took your jacket off and you were flinging it around. So So yeah, it was superb. It was the best finale we could have ever expected. I hope we could have done better without the controversies, but probably it just makes it that much fun.
Anyways, the controversies are over now, and we have
A
Max
new
as a
world
champion, and we are very happy about that.
Yes. But controversies are not over because the FIA team radios, Toto coming on the radio and urging Michael Massey not to bring out a full safety car when that VSC happened, when Giovinazzi retired, and Mercedes appealing the decision of Max winning the championship of against the stewards and everything. So I mean, it has been a quite controversial season. This entire season has been very controversial. And this was, in fact, the first time we got these team radios between the teams and the FIA. And unsurprisingly, this is the last time this is going to happen because just recently Ross Brawn did say that 2022 onwards, we are not going to be having these team radios, and we are not going to allow the team bosses to talk to the race director, and because that is in a way they are trying to influence the race result or influence the racing that is happening on track. So Ross Brawn does not want all this to happen, so that's a very good thing. But
Yes, I mean, in fact, like before this race, I haven't seen such incidents like this radio chat between team bosses and FIA. This was first time I was seeing things happening like this, and I was wondering, like, is this even allowed? So
exactly. So that's I mean, okay, fine, we can do without those FIA team radios, but it was fun, no doubt. I mean, Michael Massey, or sometimes he becomes Michael Sassy, so he does give some good reverts to the team principles and all. But yeah, apart from that, I think it's for the betterment of the sport, for the entire sport as a whole, it's better that we keep the uh, radio communications between the teams and the FIA to a minimal, or don't have them at all.
yes, in fact, for this particular race, Michael Messi is receiving a lot of criticism
Yeah,
and
he's under a lot of
hatred
fire.
from the F1 community. But we all must admit and accept that it's a job to be done, and he had to do something which would have been fair for both of the drivers, and he did something. And maybe it didn't play it out the way everybody wanted, like it was something new for us to witness, but he was doing a job, man. Like, stop criticizing Michael Messi to an extent that
I
it's,
mean,
it's okay
I
that
understand one thing, that people are unhappy, and okay, some criticism is it was well deserved as well.
it's a valid
I mean,
criticism, but
he first makes a decision that lap cars will not be allowed to overtake. Then suddenly overturns the decision. I understand that it is there in the rule book that the race director can control what happens behind the safety car. But yeah, we have not witnessed this in the past. But whatever happened. Yeah, there are people who do not agree with Michael Massey being the race director. They are saying that he's not doing a very good job as a race director. Whatever it is, I don't care about that, to be very honest. If you want to axe him, get a new guy. If you want him to stay, let him stay. The racing continues. But what we want is more responsible action from the FIA. What we want is better racing between the teams. Just chuck the penalties, yeah. Come on, get rid of the penalties, because penalizing drivers for every small thing, every small incident. I mean, Max touching Lewis's wing, 50,000 euros. If what were the what were the FIA doing when Inspector Seb was inspecting each and every car on the on the grid?
well, you should ask Aston Martin like how tense they were.
When Seb said that I'm going to touch Lewis's wing. So yeah, so that's just reduce the penalty. Let these guys race. Let these guys race. Let them have fun. If they crash into each other, if there is a deliberate action or some sort, then yes, penalize them. I understand. If they do something which is unsportsmanlike, yes, penalize them. But if they're racing, if they go beyond the track for a bit, once they go beyond the track, I mean, leave it, man. Leave it. Let them just race.
Yeah, they should give driver at least few opportunities before finally penalizing them. Like, it's okay. We all know that these cars are really fast and really difficult to maneuver on corners.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And any driver, in fact, like will is expected to go wrong at some point. And
Yeah, they are,
it's
after all, they are
absolutely
human.
humans. Yeah,
So with that, the season is behind us. Whatever happened, happened. Now is a thing of the past and is now written in the history books of Formula One as one of the greatest seasons ever. So it was a pleasure watching this season with you, and it has, as always, been exciting discussing Formula One with you. And we will be having another discussion on the entire 2021 season. We will dive deep into the drivers, the teams, and everything. So, that but is a discussion for another day. So, with that, guys, thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Ronnie, for being part of this podcast. And I'll see you in the next one.
you don't have to thank me. Like, I mean, I enjoy podcasting with you, and this is a like thing which I look forward. I just want to share my feelings, my emotions with you guys because Formula One is something that I enjoy the most in my life. Like after all the work we do, like living our life, this is something which gives me a lot of respite, and I absolutely enjoy Formula One.
Yeah, even do I. So that is all from us. So please, if you have been liking this kind of content till now, please do press that like button and do subscribe to us and just press that bell icon as well. It would do us a huge favor. You will be notified about each and every time we upload a new video, new content, podcast, whatever it might be. So thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. And this was Sid from the Meninverse. Thank you, guys.